coffee in a couple minutes, but I forgot to make it until 2 minutes ago.
That's good.
As long as you don't say the brand, we're okay.
So I'm in my parents' house right now, and I told them, "Oh, I'm gonna go record my podcast," and they immediately were like, "Let's jump in on your podcast." So I don't think that'll happen.
We can ask them about Microsoft's exclusive problem.
Yeah, they have no idea.
Yeah.
My mom's like, "Oh, your dad could be on the show." I'm like, yeah, would he really talk about like? I'll be like, "So, Dad, what do you think about Microsoft buying Valve? Is that a thing you think will happen?"
They'll be like, Microsoft, is that your Nintendo?
I remember, like, not too long ago, we were at the movies, and there was a Switch commercial, and my mom was like, "Oh, do you want one of those?" I'm like, "I've had one for like a year now, but cool."
That's nice of her, at least.
Yeah, that's
Well,
kind.
she wasn't asking to buy one. She was like, "Oh, is that something you're planning on getting?" And I'm like,
Oh.
"Well, I got it at launch, but yeah, it's pretty great."
You understand me.
I got it the exact second it was physically available to buy, but you know, yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I bought it. Actually, I bought it the day after launch. I'm sorry to misrepresent myself.
So disappointed.
Yeah.
Not a real gamer girl.
Oh God.
I think that's what we should title the episode. Episode 5, Real Gamer Girls.
Yeah.
None the episode hasn't started. That doesn't count.
Oh. Well, this week we are
They're still
sponsored
fine.
by Duff brand.
It's not true.
We don't have that here in America. Or I
Yeah, you
guess
can
in
talk
Japan.
about.
I've never seen it in America.
It's definitely American.
I've only seen it in like Germany.
Might be Canadian because it says CA cash refund on the lid.
That'd be California.
Yeah, it might be California. We go province by province.
It was made in USA, so
Yeah.
It's
It doesn't mean they sell it.
definitely made on The Simpsons.
All right.
My town is literally it is literally Shelbyville. My hometown is literally across the river from the Springfield of Record. Matt Groening is on record saying this is the Springfield.
Yeah.
it's got an American
I have-
nutrition fact, so it's definitely an American.
Oh,
I have-
okay.
I have never seen that beer.
Yeah, I'm looking this up right now, and it looks
It's
like
actually a Duff brand energy drink.
Yeah, and it's a Simpsons tie-in product. Now I understand. I was
Okay.
like really confused for a minute there before I saw that Simpsons logo on the side. Like, I thought you made like a fake label or something.
looks like they do sell like real Duff beer, but it's in like only a couple of places in the U.S. and then in Germany and then in a couple of other places overseas. So
In Germany, they changed the little German boy to a Swede. No,
Like
is he
root
Swede?
vegetable or-
No. He is Swiss. The little fat German boy is Swiss in the German dub because it is too offensive to Germans that he is German.
That makes sense. Okay.
Okay.
Everybody ready for podcast?
Yeah, I got my duct tape. I'm good to go.
You got your what brand duct tape are we hawking this week?
Cantech.
Oh.
Sponsored by Cantech.
Can't say that.
Okay. Hello everybody, and Pat.
Mulligan.
That stays in, don't worry.
yeah, it has to.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Mulligan Show, starring your friends at Gaming Fix. My name is Sam Harrison. I'm going to go right to left this time instead of left to right as I always do. So we've got first off Pat,
Hello.
Erica,
Hi.
Andre,
Who are you people?
Allison,
Hello.
Oh.
and
Ed?
Alex.
Oh, game recognized game, I guess.
All of you went extremely pixelated there. That was why I waited a little bit longer between introductions. Today is the 3rd of February, traditional Saturday recording day. Today we're going to do a shorter episode, but today we've got a couple of things we want to talk about. So first we're going to run through what everyone's been playing, then we're going to have a little bit of talk about and Xbox exclusives, and then finally we're going to run through 2 or 3 fun news stories. So I'm going to continue with my right to left session and say, Pat, what have you been playing this week?
All right. I will only talk about one game. I'll just say that I have been playing like a different thing every night the past week. But I play a little bit of Monster Hunter. Checked in on that Subnautica launch. It's really good. Everyone should play that. I'll probably talk more about it next week. I played a bunch of The Sims 4 because it's relaxing and I've been stressed. But the game that I wanted to talk about, I checked out this new-ish, still in early access on Steam, but it's on mobile platforms now, CCG, digital CCG, called Eternal. I had sort of seen it in passing about a year ago and kind of just wrote it off as a Hearthstone clone, as there are like 1,000 different digital card games that are coming out like it's seemingly every week. It's starting to trickle off, but for a while there, it seemed like that was like the new hot thing after MOBAs was to make a Hearthstone clone. So I kind of saw this game come up and passed it over. Recently, I was actually Googling around for a different game and stumbled back on this one. The reason I stumbled on it was I was looking for a different game that was designed by Magic the Gathering developers. Turns out Eternal also is former Magic devs, and it is much more in the Magic the Gathering camp than the Hearthstone camp when it comes to the way the game works. And it's actually really, really, really cool. I've put a bunch of time into it between iPad, phone, and PC over the last few days. Your account, of course, links across all of them. For those who don't know, the primary differences between Hearthstone and Magic are, one, in Hearthstone, you gain energy resources to play cards every turn by default. There's some ways to manipulate that, but typically it leads to a really standard arc of a match because each player is getting the same amount of power each turn, again, with some minor exceptions occasionally. And then the other thing that that differentiates, whereas in Magic the Gathering, you play mana cards from your hand to gain power, so you have to have the card to play it. It also means that you can have decks of different colors because the power is not neutral. They have colors attached to them, and different cards require different colors of power to play. So Hearthstone doesn't have that. You just sort of pick a class and then make a deck and go with it. The other big difference between Hearthstone and Magic the Gathering is that when you are attacking with cards, you select a target in Hearthstone. So you can target your opponent's minions or target your opponent's hero face to deal damage directly to them. Whereas in Magic the Gathering, you just say what you are attacking with, and then your opponent decides whether or not they want to block certain cards. So that's a pretty fundamental difference in strategy that sort of flips the whole game over. And Eternal uses that Magic the Gathering style of declare your attackers, plus you have mana cards that give you different colors of power. So anyway, I say all this to say that anybody who has gotten like bored of playing Hearthstone, as I have, I highly recommend checking Eternal out because it's a totally different feeling of gameplay, even though it looks very similar when you see pictures of it. I won't get too deep on like strategy. The things that I think are making me really excited about it over Hearthstone and Duelist and other digital card games is there's a ton of modes in Eternal. You can play, there's like a bunch of different single player modes. It's got campaign story content pretty similar to Hearthstone's. A bunch of it's free up front. Then there's a couple of paid expansions. it has like a puzzle mode where you can play through specific scenarios with cards that they give you. It has a gauntlet mode where you build a deck and try to get through 8 AI battles. And then it's also got like a forge mode that's kind of like the arena mode in Hearthstone where you're picking cards. And all that's just the single player stuff. And it also has a versus draft mode, which is like booster drafting, where you pay to get in and then you keep the cards that you get. It's got like tournaments that come up every now and then, and standard like ranked and casual play. So it's got a really wide breadth of content that you can get a lot out of it if you don't really ever want to play against other people, or you can dive in really hard on the ranked play, because there's so many, because you can do so much with the deck building. There's already a ton of cards out. The meta is like very, very shifting constantly. There's like a lot of stuff to try. It's not like Hearthstone where you build a 30 card deck that you see on the internet, play it until it's stale, and then do another one. It's a lot more involved, and you have a lot more to think about when you make the decks. But it's been a lot of fun. I recommend that anybody who's tried Hearthstone and gotten bored of it, check it out. It seems really well balanced. It's really generous, free to play wise too. I put some money into it, but you can get a budget deck that's competitive and ranked for a couple of weeks of playing for free, pretty easily.
That sounds cool.
Yeah. Guess I'll hand it off to Sam.
Yeah, sorry, I was my fridge was interrupting with the Wi-Fi. It blocks the Wi-Fi signals from my laptop in the kitchen. So yeah, this week I've been playing Monster Hunter, honestly, but I think that I'll leave that for either other people to talk about, or we kind of talked about it a lot last week. Between the game coming out and me getting it the day before release on the 25th, and today, I've played 40 hours. Which
Only
is,
40? Amateur.
yeah. Yeah,
I thought we were serious about games on here.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, I'm just also downloading that app that Pat was just talking about. So, yeah, the game that I'm going to bring to talk to you about today is actually probably going to be a pretty short one to talk about. It's called Use Your Words. It is available on Switch and I believe a couple of other platforms like PS4 and PC. And it's basically a Jackbox clone. It's not got a huge amount of variety in that there's really only like 4 or 5 different games. But instead of like in Jackbox, obviously you go, this is the theme and this is what we're doing. So you do, we're playing Fibbage. In Use Your Words, it's all word game stuff like Quiplash, but each different one is like a different theme. So it will be like, it will show you a video clip that's subtitled, and one line will be subtitled, and the next one will be like, insert your joke here. And then the next one will be like, here's a picture, come up with a headline for this on a local newspaper. And then like the other one is fill in a blank. So it's all just like simple word game stuff. You play it through your phone browser, exactly the same as Jackbox. The phone browser seemed to be a little temperamental for the other guys in the group. I didn't have any iPhone 10, but a Samsung user who was here did not have a great time. She kept dropping in and out. But I don't know whether that's old browsers or what have you, because as I said, I didn't have an issue at all. Yeah, it's really fun. It's good because each game isn't the same thing. So you're starting with, say for example, it's like the fill in the gap on the video clips one, and one of the video clips, like all the video clips we had were hilarious. Like the first thing that came up, like in the first question, was like one guy in a fake mustache riding a small, like he was literally riding it like a unicycle, and then like he says something, and then there's another. Then he says another line which isn't subtitled, and then the final frame of it is just like a super weird guy under a fake moustache playing the harmonica really secretively, and then like hiding it in his coat and running away, and it's very weird. And they have all these like budget Russian Winnie the Pooh cartoons, which are also very good. Yeah, so it's quite cool. I would definitely recommend it because I feel like it's really cheap. I think I only paid like £6, maybe £8 for it. I'd have to look up the price, but I remember not even worrying about how much it cost. Which prompts. And obviously, it's on Switch, so that I can basically Jackbox whenever I want, wherever I want.
On Steam, it says it is $15.
Oh, well, maybe it was more expensive than I thought. Oh no, it was £11.99. That's how much it was. It was £11.99. So for me, that was kind of a throwaway purchase, I have to say, but it was very good. Actually, I'd play it with the family then. But yeah, so that's pretty much. I don't really want to go too deep into Monster Hunter. Just say that I unlocked high rank last night, so I'm playing that. But we're all agreeing to only bring one game a week.
Oh yeah, your internet is your fridge is apparently wreaking havoc on your Wi-Fi. I think you were becoming your fridge and sound like a robot.
Yeah.
Pixelation, my favorite. I might move the room if that helps.
You use your words as rated M.
Really? It gives a fake answer every time. Like it always comes up with a fake answer, and some of them were pretty racy. I have to say, like more than I.
Uh-oh.
It gives a lot of like.
That's for you.
Yeah.
Use your words, Lobby.
I'm much closer to the Wi-Fi route.
That seems to have made it happier.
Words now, because it is only $14.99.
So wait, who's next?
It's you, Andre.
Oh, it's me. No, I think It's You is a different game. Exclusive to the PlayStation. Yeah, so I've been playing more Monster Hunter. I am, I think, pretty deep into the high rank stuff. I've unlocked the 8-star quests. I've defeated Near Gigante. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. Got some cool weapons. Got like a sword, a charge axe or charge blade that does like blast damage. That's cool because like I'll be slashing things and then it'll just like suddenly an explosion will appear. And that's really cool. And I got deeper into Dragon Ball Fighters. I am beyond the point of just kind of mashing stuff out now. I can like kind of deliberately do combos. I don't, I often like screw up a lot, but this is the first fighting game where I felt like, oh, I can kind of wrap my head around this and feel good about doing combos with basically anyone because so many of the characters play very similarly. Like they have different like individual combos, but the way you can kind of set stuff up is very similar. So that's been a lot of fun. Getting into the story mode more. It's real weird and corny. Like for some reason, there's like something that like these waves that are dampening everyone's power, but then you play as the soul that is inhabiting the bodies of the characters, and then when you're in their body, they can fight, which is why it's like a tag system, is because like mid-match you're swapping your soul into another person's body. So that's weird. I played some ranked, did all right on that. Started off crushing people. Not like I'm so good, but like in the low rank stuff I was doing really well, and taking out full teams with like one character, and then occasionally going up against someone who knew what they were doing, and I had no chance. Like getting out of situations where I'm in the corner, I still haven't figured that out. because I basically just comboed into infinity, which sucks. Yeah, currently my team is Future Trunks. I guess he's the only Trunks in the game. So Trunks or Sword Goku for those not in the know. Blue Vegeta and Teen Gohan. But I might be looking to change out Teen Gohan because he's got them short, stubby little legs. He can't do special. He can't do specials in the air. So all his specials are ground based, which he's got like some really strong ones. Like his level 3 can become a level 5. Only a few people can do that. So if you like hold the button down while you're doing it, you'll like burn 2 more meters and it'll like put out extra damage. And as long as you hit them with the first part, then the second part is guaranteed to hit. So that's cool. But yeah, so this is the first fighting game where I'm like, oh, okay, I could see myself like actually sticking with this for a long time instead of just with like single player arcade stuff, like doing the online stuff for a while. I'm curious to hear what Erica thought about it before she was injured.
Yeah. So I mean, I did get to play a little bit of it before I got hurt. So this week, some asshole hit me with his car.
How did an asshole even get a license? Like, God, that's...
Yeah. So what happened was I was waiting on the corner, trying to cross the street. And I see this guy flying like down the street, and I'm like, okay, I'm not an idiot. I'm not gonna, just go. So I just waited, and I was fully on the sidewalk. And this guy made a turn without slowing down, and he hopped the curb and sideswiped me like pretty hard. Like I hit the ground. I hit my head on the cement. I had my hand, like, apparently, according to my doctor, don't put your thumb in your fist like this ever and walk around like that, because if you put any pressure on this part of your hand, you will tear the ligament that goes from your thumb into your forearm, which is what I did with his hand. So that has put a big damper on my Dragon Ball FighterZ game. Can't use my left thumb anymore for the next 4 to 6 weeks. It's not a full tear, so it should heal on its own without surgery, thankfully. But yeah, so it's been not fun. But before that, I was having a lot of fun with Dragon Ball FighterZ. I was like a little frustrated with it, but not so frustrated. I kept playing Beerus, and you have to be like right on top of like the guy to use your level 3 super on him, and that was super frustrating. But
you could play someone else.
I could, but he looks like a cat, so I was like, okay, I gotta play this guy.
Yeah, Beerus is cool, but also like if you're not having fun.
I feel like, having only watched 8 episodes of Dragon Ball Kai, if you're not playing Piccolo, you're fucked up.
That was one of my other ones that I was playing. But
I main Piccolo, and I'm never going to play that game.
But what
and
I've
then
been playing...
Krillin, because he's stupid looking.
Back off of Krillin, all right?
He's doing the best he can.
He's just a man.
He is
Child.
He is the Earth's strongest human.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a
Krillin's
Dragon Ball
also
Z
my favorite
podcast called Krillin It. I just want you all to know that.
That's awful.
So they all just get murdered like multiple times.
Yeah.
I assume that when we start our Dragon Ball podcast, we're going to call it I'm Just Saying.
Oh no.
I think Goku he probably spends more time dead than Krillin. He doesn't get killed as much, but Goku spends more time dead. So
he's been dead for, I would say, 80% of the episodes of Dragon Ball that I have currently watched.
Yeah,
He sacrifices.
So does Krillin.
Yeah.
They just care about Krillin more.
What I've been
So they bring
playing
him back.
instead of Dragon Ball, I've been trying to play some mobile games instead. So I've been playing the Cube Escape games.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Pat said on a couple podcasts ago that Cube Escape the Lake did something he's never seen in games before, but also not to build it up too high by saying that. And so I played through Seasons first, and then I played through the Lake after. They're both super short games. You can play both of them in like one sitting. And yeah, there's something in that game that I haven't seen in games before, but it's also like maybe not the most special thing I've ever seen. It was like, oh,
No,
that's
it's not
pretty
crazy.
neat. Yeah.
It was like a 30-second moment of holy shit. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. It wasn't
Exactly.
like my mind is expanded or anything, but yeah,
Yeah,
it's really cool.
Yeah, no, yeah. There's definitely something in there that was like, oh, that's actually a really neat thing that I'm surprised more games haven't done.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you know, yeah. So I don't know. That game's pretty cool. It's got. I played earlier this year. It's like February, but you know what I mean. I played Rusty Lake Paradise, which is by the same people, the Rusty Lake people. And that game has less adventure game logic than these two games did. Lake in particular, I felt like the Lake in particular had a lot of adventure game logic, like put some mold on your fishing line and cast it out and you're gonna get a shell, and you know, it's like just things that kind of don't feel like they make a ton of sense all the time, but it was a good time. It's fun. It's, you know, it's free, so it's worth free. But yeah, I don't know. I'm looking for more mobile games or one-handed games if anybody wants to recommend me any. I also played a little bit of Hidden Folks, which was cool, but I don't think I'll go back to it because it's like a more elaborate Where's Waldo type game. But
Did you ever play The Room on iOS or Android or whatever?
No, I haven't. I have
There's
heard
like
of it.
4 of those now. A new one literally just came out because I saw an ad
Yeah.
for it in the App Store.
And there's
Yeah, I feel like The Room might be a good one-hand game.
All right.
there's that James Franco movie about the making of it.
Yeah.
I'd like to recommend a game called Eternal.
All right, I'm downloading.
So I really like Pocket Mine. Pocket Mine's very good. That's single hand. And both of the Go games, Lara Croft Go, Hitman Go.
I played
Yeah.
both of those already. Those are so good, though.
Oh, they're great.
Deus Ex Go.
Oh yeah,
No.
there's that. Deus Ex Go.
There is a Deus? I didn't know there was a Deus Ex
Oh, I
Go.
hold my
That's cool.
phone now. It's like weird grip. One finger.
You could play Arena of Valor, the 5v5 MOBA that's out on iOS that I downloaded aspirationally and I've had on my phone for about 2 months.
Million Onion Hotel.
Yeah,
The game's weird as balls.
So, I'm also on Painkillers, so I've remembered exactly 2 of those games. You guys can remind me of those later in the chat. Okay, who's next?
Alex next, I think.
No, Allison.
Would it be me?
Yeah, Alison can go next if you like.
Yeah.
I thought that's what you said in chat. But anyways, I had a pretty light gaming week this week. 2 games that I play a little bit of, and I won't talk too much about. I got Monster Hunter. Haven't spent too much time on it to really talk about it, but I like Insect Glaive, so that's not the only thing I know. I also played more of Celeste, which is like I don't have much more to say than it's hard, and I really like it. But actually, the one game I've played a lot of this week, just when I'm in transit, is actually one that is a one-hand game that Erica recommended in the Giant Bomb Facebook group, which is Solitarica.
Hell yeah.
Which I'm really enjoying because I saw that it was Solitaire meets roguelikes, and I love roguelikes, and I have a big fondness for solitaire-based games, like Pocket Card Jockey, which is for 3DS.
Oh yeah, that game rocks.
Yes, so I saw this and I was like, okay, time, I'm on board. But it feels like it's pretty much the perfect mobile game for me because it's all basically battles where you're playing solitaire, but you have other abilities you can use based off of the cards that you get. And it's roguelike in that each battle gets progressively more difficult, so you're trying to basically buy enough abilities and items to make it easier to do those later bosses. But I've been really enjoying it. It's for me the perfect game to play on the bus or to play on the train. So it also makes me want to get back and play Pocket Card Jockey again because I love that game so much. But it's been really fun, and definitely something that I'm going to be keeping up with in the future when I need to take the bus somewhere. Or I need a one-handed game myself.
Have you made it through any of the runs in Solitarica yet?
I've gotten almost there. I've gotten to like, there's I think 16 of them, and I've gotten to about 14, 15, so it's getting close. But I've for the first deck that you play with, I've unlocked the 3 extra cards, so I'm almost there. I just need to play it a few more times and get better with some of the abilities too, because I feel like I get too attached to the first 4 that you get. So then I'm like, oh, I don't want to get one of these and spend 8 of my energy on it. That sounds terrible. And then I realized, oh, that might be actually really helpful for later game stuff. So it's trying to balance all of that. That I'm still.
Why would I want to heal 4
right
when I can heal 1 for 2?
Yeah, but what if you only have 2 though? That's the issue I've run into when I upgrade that. It's like you run into I need to heal 1 and there's 2. But anyways, I think I'm slowly getting better at that game, and it's a good reprieve for when Celeste gets too hard for me.
I need to stop this for a second. So I've just got the Use Your Words Facebook or Steam page up, and it's scrolling through like screenshots. And one of the prompts was, if your butt cheeks had names, what would it be?
You're just confirming the $15 purchase I made about 15 minutes ago.
This is just making me think I need to buy a Dump in the Dark.
This is classy butt humor, okay?
Yeah, it has like knockoff Russian Winnie the Pooh.
Yep.
What's that saying?
It would be a great way for you to make some new friends in Seattle.
Yeah, seriously.
Great icebreaker. Name your butt cheeks.
Name your butt cheeks.
That's actually a really good icebreaker.
That's already how I introduce myself.
Better icebreaker is, name my butt cheeks. I'll show you mine.
Speaking of showing us yours, Alex, I think that you're up next.
Yeah, so I've been playing A Dump in the Dark. No, no, I have not touched that. It should be noted, I looked at Steam, I've put 1 hour into that game for some reason. So I've been playing a handful of games. These are the ones I'm not going to talk about. Overcooked, which is awesome. Desert Golfing, which is kind of shit, but it passes time. It's terrible, but I can't stop playing
Desert Golfing.
Yeah,
Okay.
if you want.
Remind me later.
Okay, we'll write it down. I've been playing Not Enough Monster Hunter. I put in like an hour and a half or something like that. Just not enough to really have an opinion on it yet. The one I'm going to talk about for about an hour is this game. Came out last year. It's called Danganronpa V3. No.
I thought you were serious.
Like, okay, let's hear this again.
No.
I'm just gonna end the call.
Okay.
No, I'm almost at the end of Celeste, and that game is awesome. I'm playing through it in the way that I'm like, I'm never going to turn on assist mode, which in some parts is might be questionable because that game does get really crazy hard. But the thing that's been surprising me a ton about that game is that the story is actually kind of amazing. It goes and it deals with some stuff that I really wasn't expecting. It has maybe the best depiction of a panic attack I've ever seen in a video game, which was not something I expected going in. They have a pretty, like, I'm not going to spoil it, but they have a pretty in-depth conversation about what it's like to have depression.
Wow.
Like, it goes some places, and I was not expecting it. And I think I have about 1 more chapter to go, and yeah, I think I can say with a certain amount of certainty that I thoroughly recommend that game, because it's really fantastic. It does some really cool visual stuff. Like, it's pixel art, but it will fuck with the pixel art with some really, like, in some really crazy ways, especially near the end of chapter 6. So when you get there, Allison.
I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
Not good enough for that, but I'm excited
But yeah,
to find that.
it's super cool. It tells a really lovely little story, and the characters are amazing. So I'm really enjoying my time with Celeste, and if I finish it next week, I'll talk a little bit about it. But it's pretty fantastic.
I can't believe 5 out of 6 people on the podcast to play Monster Hunter, and none of us talked about it.
I mean, I think a lot of what needs to be said has been said. It's a really good game.
Yeah.
I don't know that there's reams and reams of discussion to be had on like what that game is based on how much people have talked about it the past week or so.
I feel like it's one of those games too where, like, it sounds like Alex and I didn't play that much of it, where I played maybe 4 or 5 hours of it, and I feel like I've barely like touched this game. Like, I mean, I have barely touched the game, but I feel like I've just like scratched a little bit and tried out some weapons, and that was about it.
I think I'm trying to remember what I named my character. I think it was XX_FartCat420XX.
Nice.
Did you name your character or your palico?
My palico is Bob420 because my cat's name is Bob.
Good names. Good
Very
names.
nice.
No 69 in there. That would have been a prime.
Yeah.
420.
When I roll my next character, there'll be 69s everywhere.
That is one thing I've never understood about those games is why they have multiple character slots, because you're not.
Yep.
I don't know why you'd want to go through the progression again, because like you can go back and do all those really hunts, but
other different cosmetics maybe.
But you can unlock everything on one.
Yeah, but you can't change your gender.
That's true.
Yeah,
but I think they might be adding that to this one. I saw they're adding some sort of character re-rolling stuff, but I can't remember exactly because you can change your appearance.
Yeah, you can change your appearance.
Do you know what the free DLC is going to have? Is that going to have more monsters, more maps, or?
I doubt it will have more maps. Because in previous games, usually there might be like a unique arena or something, but in previous games it's just been like unique monsters.
All right, cool.
It'll be interesting though because this is the first major console release for a while, so I could see them doing some different stuff than what they've done in the past.
Yes.
I could also see them absolutely not doing anything different from what they've done in the past because this game isn't that different than the ones in the past too.
So where I'm at in the game, it looks like there are still spaces for like 2 more areas, but maybe not. But
there's only one more than I think. From where I know you are, I think there's only one more area, but there could be obviously DLC areas.
Well, so I've got 4 or 5. I've got 5, I think. Because you go okay, because there are 2 areas like on the left. There's an area on the right and left side of the map where it's like torn out of like a map, so it looks like they could put in stuff right there, but one on the right side's pretty small, so
if they were really stuff in later. They would put out a new map in like summer and a new map in winter, so that they stay on the Game of the Year radar, because that game came out in January, and January games always get forgotten.
Maybe. But yeah, because there are some monsters from like 4U, Monster Hunter 4U that I'd like to see in this game, and like older games, probably everyone has their favorites. And like there was a pretty cool snow map in 4U, so maybe they could add that in or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hey, we talked about Monster Hunter.
Yeah, it's weird that this game has fewer areas than previous games. I think it's fewer. I don't know, but the maps are also more connected and bigger. So
excellent. Well, in the name of brevity, let's move on to talking a little bit about Microsoft and their exclusives issue. So Colin Campbell wrote something for Polygon earlier this week, which has been discussed ad nauseum everywhere. But
all right, let's move on.
I thought we could just give a little bit of our personal takes on Microsoft and how their exclusives shape up versus the other 2 systems. So, I mean, for me, I can't think of Microsoft exclusive this generation that made me want to own an Xbox.
Nope.
Yeah, I
I-
still don't own one.
Yeah,
I
I don't
own
either.
Xbox.
but-
No real plans to buy one, honestly.
Yeah, Sam, to add context to that, do you have a PC?
I do have a PC, and I do have an Xbox One. I
Okay.
bought my Xbox One on Black Friday in a very good deal to get the 4K Blu-ray player. So that was basically my main reason for buying it, and I thought, oh well, I'll try out some Xbox games along the way.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like I only ask because I also don't own an Xbox One. But as soon as they started announcing that, like basically all of their major releases were coming out on Xbox and PC, that just killed all of my impetus to potentially buy an Xbox. I was just like, oh, I can play Forza on my computer. Okay, great.
I think they're okay with that though, because it's not like they make money on those consoles. So their money is made on the software sales. So if you'll buy the software on PC, they don't care if where you're purchasing it.
So here's the
But-
interesting thing for me personally, is that I'm never going to buy an Xbox game on PC because in the UK, digital game prices are absolutely rubbish. So, like Forza 7, when it came out last year, was £60 for the generic vanilla version on PC.
Yeah.
You could get it for 40 retail in a store, and then if you didn't like it, you can resell it.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
there's
a fair point.
literally no choice there.
But now with that Game Pass stuff, working on
Yeah.
PC,
Yeah,
that's even less of a reason to own one.
Yeah, I've got. I currently have Game Pass because my Xbox One came with a few free months. But I think I will probably keep it up afterwards, just because I want to try Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, I worry a little bit about I mean, it's pretty obvious that their exclusive lineup is not great for what's announced. But I feel like a lot is being pinned on Sea of Thieves, and that game is going to be massively disappointing to a lot of people, especially Microsoft.
I don't think that game looks very good.
I think it looks like it could be very good, but
Is I don't know, kind of like a No Man's Sky scenario where people are giving it like attributing
know.
things to it that maybe it's not actually promising, or
I don't know about that. It seems like people have played a lot of that game via demos and betas and such, and they're kind of coming away all fairly positive. Whereas No Man's Sky, no one played it up until the day it came out.
Yeah. It just
I
seems
feel
like there's not much in it, you know.
Yeah.
Like that's the
Yeah.
thing. Like what I've seen looks incredible. I just don't want to sail to an island, dig up a treasure chest for 100 hours. If there's a bunch of content they're holding back from the betas, which some people claim there is, then it could be amazing.
I mean, you don't want to put the full game out in a beta, so I imagine that they're kind of having a more directed experience, so people have the best time.
I think
have the easiest time accessing stuff, and they're not like, oh, I went over here and I couldn't find out where. I don't know.
It just, from what I've seen, I've watched a lot of coverage of the beta from like Polygon and Giant Bomb and Waypoint, and like in every case they did the exact same thing for 3 hours, and not even like starting. It wasn't all like, we're starting the beta, here we go, first 3 hours of beta experience. They were all at different points when they picked it up, and they all did almost an identical thing. They sail to an island, they kill some skeletons, they dig up a treasure, and they get a cosmetic item. And
what do you think pirates do?
Yeah, well, it just, I don't know what else. Like, I don't know how more stuff could be in there that they are holding back. That's the thing that's kind of worries me.
It seems like a lot of people are kind of hoping that the PvP is going to be a huge part of it.
It just looks fun, but like there's no point.
Yeah.
There might be a story mode that's not in there. There might be, I don't know.
Yeah, you're right.
Sorry, Pirate Destiny.
Yeah, people are saying Pirate Destiny, but I think it's like multiplayer improv simulator.
Yeah.
That game looks like it could be a lot of different things to a lot of different people.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Yeah, but aside from Sea of Thieves, oh sorry.
Yeah. Right, because I mean, I think that it could be good, but I have no idea how much it'll sell, and if that's going to be enough for people to actually get the Xbox Game Pass. Like, it's something where I feel like that could be a draw, but how many people are going to say, yeah, I'm going to pay $10 a month for Sea of Thieves and some older games that I already have, or something like that.
Do we know if you can pay, like if it's cancel anytime, or do you have to pay for a certain amount of time up front?
It's
I think
cancel
so.
anytime.
Is it? I thought you were locked in for like 6 months. That's what I heard.
Oh, I'm not. I pay mine. I got free time, but then it's a recurring monthly payment.
I'm looking into it because I would totally drop $10
Oh.
to try Sea of Thieves for a weekend, and then if
Right.
Yeah,
I totally would too.
Exactly the
But
same.
is that going to be one of those things where people get the free trial for 14 days and then drop it once they've gotten what they want from Sea of Thieves, or is it going to be something that people get it for a month and then drop it? I don't know.
It looks like cancel anytime.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So, well, because if Sea of Thieves is Pirate Destiny, like people are saying, or if it does have a long longevity to it, yeah, there'll be people who play it for like 14 days. Like, some people play Destiny for 14 days, they play the story, and then they're out. But they're also going to be, theoretically, there'll be the people who want to stick with it.
If they're going to release like Halo games on PC and like lots of stuff, I have like a passing interest in Microsoft's exclusives, and I could definitely see paying $10 a month to be able to play Sea of Thieves as a service game that kind of gets stuff added to it periodically, and then also have access to those games that I'm going to have a shorter week or two experience with as they come out. It could be really smart. I don't know. It seems like a really good game to launch with it, because I have a feeling that if the reception is really bad, like let's say there isn't a story mode in there, or the story mode is just some cutscenes pasted on what we've already seen, that's the kind of I don't think that they're going to just abandon it. I think change in the way that we've seen other games recover from shaky launches the past year or two.
But yeah, apart from Sea of Thieves, the other thing that came up in that article was that Microsoft was potentially looking to buy or acquire some other publisher, company, whatever the case may be. The examples given, I think, were what, EA, Valve,
Who was the other one?
PUBG Corporation, was that right?
Yeah, those were the three.
It would make sense for Microsoft to want to buy Valve because they're competing in the like distribution space.
Yeah.
But Valve is printing money.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's not like they're like, oh, we could make more money. They've got money.
Valve's privately owned as well, isn't it? Whereas EA is traded, so they could just buy shares to own EA.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The thing about Valve,
Square Enix hasn't thrown the hat in the ring. Like, their market cap's lower than EA, and they have a lot more successful and profitable franchises.
I think since Square is like a Japanese dev, I think they're not probably not interested. They make a lot of Western style games, and have Western studios, but I think they'd be more interested in buying stuff out from under Square instead of just outright buying Square, because Xbox is a non-factor in Japan.
Yeah, I mean, something that came up on the Bombcast, if you listen to the most recent one, is that it'd be more interesting if Microsoft started kind of buying properties, or in the case of EA, buying their back catalog or something like that, just to have all of that available at a whim, not necessarily pushing them forward.
But then, so they can start development on some old games, some old classics, and then cancel development, and then just put that team on another Gear sequel, or make a Voodoo Vince 2.
Still bitter about Scale Down, huh?
That game, I don't know how I felt
that game was never coming out.
What was it? Black Tusk. That it was like they teased it at launch of like at reveal of the Xbox One, and they're like, no, never mind. They're making Gears 4.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
They're like on the verge of having like exclusives, and they're like, oh no, we're just gonna make the same shit. It's exclusive, but it's what we've seen before, and I don't have any desire to see a Gears sequel. I will definitely check out the Game Pass stuff on PC for Halo whenever that ends up coming out. They've got Forge on for free on PC.
Yeah, they do.
On the Windows Store. I haven't messed with that, but I had a lot of fun with friends in like high school playing Forge stuff. Like we would just play for like hours upon hours in like custom Forge games. It's a lot of fun. And you know, the Halo campaigns are always good fun for at least a playthrough.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I have Game Pass and I have my Xbox One. It's all set up, and my other half actually uses it a lot more than I do because there's a Disney game on there that she likes. So it looks like to me, having a look around as well, Microsoft seems to have a much more kid-friendly lineup out of the two.
Hmm.
So I think that whilst gamers might not be big Xbox purchasers, I think that families are. Like anecdotally as well, a lady in my team at work was asked me for advice on what console to get her son for Christmas, and I was like, "Well, how old is he?" And she's like, "Blah, blah." I was like, "Okay, either get whatever his friends have or get a Nintendo Switch."
Hmm.
And she did end up going and getting an Xbox because it was what all of his friends had.
Yeah.
So
The problem, kids, they don't know what's cool. Like, you know, they're probably like, oh, Xbox 360 was the coolest, man. That was where all the cool kids were. And then they're like, no, man, they don't got no games now.
yeah,
But if you're a
well, I
kid
mean,
and
you
you
can still play
get like
pretty
3
much.
games, you get 3 games a year or whatever if you're lucky.
Good point. Yeah,
And then you
Assassin's
know,
Creed,
going
GTA.
yeah,
COD.
yeah, exactly. You get your Call of Duty, and you go, no, I want the zombies one. But that's last year. You want the old one. Yeah.
Even though the Spec Ops one is way better, but you know.
You get COD, you get your FIFA, you get your
Is it?
PUBG.
There's no Connect, so you know there's that.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I actually really used to like my Kinect because I bought an Xbox One on launch and sold it when the S got announced with the intention to buy an X or an S a year or so later, which is kind of what I did. I did wait about 2 years instead of a year.
Because there was nothing to play.
There really wasn't. And I feel like it's only getting worse this year. Like, what was Microsoft's exclusive last year? It was PUBG, wasn't it?
Forza.
Yeah.
Was there PUBG? But can you think of any others for the rest of the year? And like Sony got Persona, Nier, Neo.
Crushed it with exclusives last year.
Horizon.
A lot of them were Japanese
Horizon.
developed.
And then this year they've got God of War, they've got Spider-Man, they've got Dreams. Although that's not really a game, and we all know it's not a game.
Monster Hunter is coming to the Xbox, right?
It's out.
Or it is on the Xbox. Sorry. Yeah.
Now
Okay.
it's
Sorry.
coming
Is
out
it PC that's later for Monster Hunter? Yeah.
October,
Right.
September, October.
Okay. Right.
The Digital Foundry video that I watched said that the Monster Hunter performs better on PS4 Pro than on the Xbox One X.
Ugh.
It's a Japanese developed game. They're not concerned about the Xbox.
Yeah. Apparently, it's more consistent on Xbox One X, but it's better looking overall on PS4 Pro.
Yeah.
Also, like they've got those exclusive DLC deals with Sony, so Sony definitely threw them some money and said, "Hey, do work."
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, like last year, Microsoft did have Cuphead. I guess that's like the one thing I will say for their console exclusive that I would have cared about.
That's good.
But
yeah.
But they've also been killing it with their backwards compatibility.
Yeah.
Like being able to basically have an entire library of, you know, OG Xbox games, 360, etc. Like that's pretty great. And Sony kind of sucks for that. Like, yes, they have their yeah, but like I haven't actually used it. I don't know if you guys have it all.
I've not bothered because I live in the countryside.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've used it and I feel like it's really, at least it was really inconsistent for me. And they might have improved it since. But for example, I was playing one of the old Katamari games and it was like couple of times it was fine, but then the other time it was just like completely laggy, and it said, "Oh, you can still run this," and I'm like, "No, I can't really because it's really glitching and not great." So it's I feel like it's really inconsistent. It's not terrible, but there have
Mhm.
definitely been times where I'm trying to play something on it and it just won't work. So I only get it once in a while if I have like an itch to try Katamari again, but that's
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah. So I guess for me at least, when it comes to the Xbox situation with their exclusive, like they're just kind of having a disparity in exclusives. Like if they can just leverage a massive library, I think that would make up for it. Become the Netflix of video games, like as
Oh,
cheesy
totally.
as that is. Like if they can do that, I think that would be a really good model for them.
Yeah.
Because I just don't think they're I don't think they're rocking it with the exclusives for the moment.
Especially if they can somehow manage to parlay Game Pass into being a major force. Like if they can bring some of those Xbox exclusives emulated somehow to PC, then or
Mhm.
Xbox 360 games emulated to PC somehow, which if anyone's going to figure out how to do it, it's going to be them because they
Yeah.
control the platforms. That could be a massive thing. And at that point, what do they care if you're paying 10 bucks a month on PC or 10 bucks a month on an Xbox?
For sure.
Like,
And also, like a lot of 360 games are already on PC. I mean, not you don't
True.
have Halo or you don't have Halo what 2, 3, and 4 or 5, but yeah. So really, it's just they need to make get those games maybe on the Microsoft Store, so you're in their ecosystem, and then excuse me, make that better.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Totally. But
I think they need to make the overall usability of Game Pass a bit better. I also I don't know why they're still selling 500 gig consoles and expecting people to be on that Game Pass tip, because I installed like 3 games and I don't have any room on my console anymore. So that's something they really need to think about.
yeah. Is it okay if I poke at a couple other news/rumors? Just
Sure.
because I know we have a
Please.
brief cast today.
Sounds good.
So for one, CEO of Sony, Kaz Hirai, is stepping down.
R.I.P.
Oh, wow, I hadn't
Yeah.
heard that.
Yeah. So I think he said he's stepping down. He wants to spend more time with his family and stuff like that.
Same year. Well, he's going to be chairman or something on the board.
Something like that. I didn't quite catch those details.
Same year that the Kaz Hirai CEO parody Twitter account is shutting down. Follow the money.
Yeah.
It was never a parody. It was just his alt.
Yeah. Let's run with this.
But yeah, I don't know. I just want to say I love Kaz. I think he was like, he's been there forever, and it'll be sad to see him not really in the forefront. But he also kind of hasn't been for the video game side for years.
Because he moved on to like
CEO of Sony. Yeah.
So part of that I just saw this morning was there's a rumor that Sony might be looking to sell off their entertainment division or like their movie division.
The movies, yeah.
So like
Disney's got
Spider-Man,
some pockets.
Ghostbusters, and stuff. Yeah, exactly. That my first thought is, oh, Disney's gonna fucking buy them, and then Ghostbusters will be part of the fucking cinematic universe, and then
Oh man, that would be terrible.
Realistically,
Kingdom Hearts 4.
Who else has that money? Who else has the money to buy Sony Entertainment? That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Their TV division
Warner?
is
Does
huge
Warner
as well.
have that much money?
Warner doesn't have that much money, or else they'd have bought Fox.
Maybe. Yeah.
Fair
maybe.
point. But the other thing I wanted to talk about, like I think we mentioned this a couple weeks ago, that it was a rumor, but it seems like it's more codified now, that Bad Company 3 is looking like it might be the Battlefield game this year, which is kind of the best news ever because I really love the Bad Company games.
I'm really cynical about that though. Like
Yeah.
the reason they would do the reason that current EA would do Bad Company 3 is because they can recycle a ton of assets from Battlefield 4 and generally not make much of a new game, but call it Bad Company 3 and do some deeper story and voice acting stuff in it, and then charge $60 for it. That's the way I see it going.
Wasn't Bad Company? I maybe only played like part of 2 very briefly. Wasn't it like stylistically, like artistically different from their other Battlefield games? They
Yeah,
just made it like a little more cartoony.
Little
kinda.
tiny.
well, it wasn't cartoony, but at that time it was definitely different. It did more. It did way more destruction, like destructibility of the
Yeah.
environment, than any other Battlefield game, and like to date, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
So okay, so here are my two pitches or my two thoughts. One in regards to what Pat was saying. I don't know if they get away with that because then I think people are like, oh, it's not Bad Company because it doesn't have like the Bad Company style.
Mm.
Maybe they do what Pat's saying, but that would just my thought is it'll be
I think
like
you're right.
stylistically different, but they could also just like slap some skins on to Battlefield 4 stuff or whatever and repurpose that. Two, imagine how sick it'll be when you can shoot a rocket at your loot box to blow it up and find out what's inside.
I think you're right. I don't think it'll fly when they. I'm really confident that that's what that game's going to look like, and I think you're right that it'll just be another brick in the wall for EA, like being completely closed off from what people actually want. Because the thing that'll happen is, and I've been less cynical on them over the past year than most people, to be honest. Like I've talked about, I like Battlefield 2, but what that game, Bad Company 3, even if it gets panned for being too similar to Battlefield 4, it'll still sell tons, and it's not going to matter to the average person who doesn't read any industry press. So
yeah,
that's clearly who they care about. They do not care about us at all anymore. They haven't for years. It's just becoming even more crystal clear now.
You know,
yeah.
the people saying to boycott it will be playing it day one anyway. So.
Absolutely, yeah, totally.
a la Modern Warfare 2. But I think I'm less cynical about it than you, just because I remember how pissed off people were after Battlefield Hardline came out, and they're like, "This is just Battlefield 4 with a skin," and after that they went out of their way to make Battlefield 1 as different as possible.
Sure.
Like, so like I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt in that sense, and like I just think DICE cares about Bad Company. Like I think that's kind of their baby
I hope
more
to be
than
proven
anything.
wrong too. To be clear,
Yeah, like
I would like it.
So if it's Bad Company 3, I'll throw my cards in with hoping that it's going to be really great. But
they had, they have a 2-year dev cycle on it, at least. They were still working on like Battlefield 1 DLC and stuff, but they had, and granted that's not a ton of time to make a video game. It could be it'll be better than if they only had a year, and that kind of gives me a little more hope that it'll be more distinct than just it's Battlefield 4 again, but slightly different.
I hope so.
Totally.
I'd also be super interested to see what Battlefield 4 assets looked like compared to modern games, because Battlefield 4 was a generation straddling PS3, PS4, PS whatever, and I bet that game does not look great right now. And so I'd be very surprised if they reused those assets.
Battlefield 4 looks pretty good still. Battlefield 4 is a good looking game. It was
Bad Company 2
engine,
is a good looking game.
Yeah, but like Battlefield 4 was Frostbite engine. They just have to upres the textures and models.
Totally.
Yeah, I bet the PC version looks fine.
Yeah, it does.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I still play it sometimes.
Any other stories?
Yeah. Anything else, Alex?
I think that's all I had.
Wasn't there something else?
I had a couple of things written down, mostly like delays of games. So Yakuza's been delayed by a month, and
that I am so curious. Why?
Yeah.
What?
Like just a month.
Yeah, especially since it's just localization.
Yeah, because the game has been out in Japan for over a year.
So
I
I
mean,
have thought
presumably it's
they've said they're putting out a demo.
Yeah, at the end of February.
Yeah, maybe they've taken that time to put out the demo, and creating the vertical slice is taking longer than expected. And they think that if they don't have a demo, people won't buy that game.
Yakuza 0 was so popular.
Yeah.
Like Yakuza 0, probably the most popular Yakuza game ever, at least in the West. So I don't. That is kind of based on the old engine, but I feel like that would still hold over.
Maybe Yakuza Kiwami didn't sell as well as they wanted, and that's why they're doing it.
Maybe. I mean, they put out 2 Yakuza games in a year. They're doing it again this year. So.
when it comes out because New Japan wrestlers. But
well, they're putting out that like interactive like story thing where you can look through and find out what happened to all the characters and stuff.
yeah,
That's good.
So like, I kind of want to do that, but like, I don't know. He's next to me. I was like staring at my husband. He's like, he really wants to play through all of them first, and I'm like,
Oh.
That's a big ask.
yeah.
Well, you'll be playing 6 by the time 9 comes out.
Exactly.
I'm just saying he can play through all of them and you can play 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that'll probably, I don't know if he's not gonna do that, because I really want to see those New Japan characters in there. They just look so good for the models that I've seen of them. This just they put in some of their moves and stuff when they're fighting, and it's so
I wish I had the discipline to play a game every night that wasn't like the game that I'm most interested in. So it's
good. We
like,
stream them, so like, you know,
Yeah.
it's like a little less of a thing because it's just, you know, a thing we do. We just stream it every night, so having that schedule makes it a lot easier to get through that game.
maybe I should start doing that. Start streaming.
So two more quick things. Nintendo is making a Mario Kart phone app game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my sister, who does not play games, I mean, she has played some games, but she just does not play games in the same way that we do. But she tagged me on Instagram.
Like upside down, backwards.
Like
Their feet.
she's played Overcooked, and that's probably the only game she's played in the last 5 years, let's say.
Oh, okay.
Hey,
So
great game.
Yeah, well, I bought it for Christmas, which is why she played it. So yeah, like she tagged me on Instagram in a post on like World Stars Instagram page. For, announcing, you know, like, hey, you know, there's a Mario Kart game coming to phones, and she's like, did you hear about this? Did you know about this? And I'm like, yeah, I did. She's very excited.
Another mediocre Nintendo phone game.
Yeah, I'm
So,
kind
I
of.
mean,
I'm hoping secret. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Allison.
Oh no. I mean, it's just one of those things where I'm sure it'll probably do well, but I know that with every Nintendo mobile game, I've played it for like half hour and then went, I'm good.
I'm secretly hoping that it's not actually Mario Kart, like driving carts around, but that it's like Motorsport Manager.
Oh,
If
you did
Mario
that.
Kart- I don't think
That'd be
they're smart
good.
enough to do that on.
Mario Kart Manager.
Yeah,
That
but
would
if
be
they did
really
like
good.
yeah, that'd be really cool. Like I was picturing the art of like a Toad pit crew and stuff, and like, yeah, it could be really cool. But I don't
What
think.
if it's Mario Kart Manager, but you can auto play the management, or you can auto play the racing? So for the management sim guys, you can just go full manager.
What if? Yeah, I just had an idea for like a asynchronous auto sport manager / kart racer, or just any driving game where one person just does all the managing and they've got their team, and then the team does all the driving, and you're like, shit, this person's bad, I gotta like change them out. And you gotta manage your team of real people.
Yeah,
Man.
Based on their real driving.
That sounds pretty
Are you,
And then
are you guys? I'm sorry.
Yep, Alex.
I was gonna say, are you guys familiar with the Zeus mode in Arma?
a little bit.
How cool would it? Well, basically, Zeus mode is you have a bunch of people playing Arma like on a map,
Yeah.
and they're just shooting each other and stuff as you do. And there's one dude who is basically the DM for it and can say like, okay, there's going to be an event here, there's going to be a bombing here or whatever, there's going to be a whatever over here. It'd be cool if you could have like a Mario Kart or like a, you know, like almost like a split second style thing, being like, okay, this building is going to fall over and knock over this part onto this part of the track.
And what if that was determined by a live audience on twitch.tv?
Hosted by Scott Rogowski.
Okay,
Ooh.
well,
Go on.
Ooh.
what I said might happen someday.
Sponsored
No,
by
it's
Sweet
Nintendo.
Button.
Since it's Nintendo, it'll happen like 30 years.
Yeah.
That's how fast that company moves.
As twitch.tv
But yeah.
is closing down.
And then Scott will be just on the like, he'll be coming back around on the relevant circuit for like the nostalgia trip.
True.
So
But yeah, that's definitely not what that Mario Kart game is going to be. But anyways,
No.
sorry, what was the last thing?
The last thing is not really like a surprise to anyone who knows anything. Red Dead Redemption has been delayed
Yeah, well,
till October.
Yeah.
I'm not terribly surprised, but you know.
After that, so this only gives, in my opinion, only gives credence to the Leslie Benzi, whatever his name is,
Benzies.
story.
Yeah.
Story about
We
like
can
I
get a
need
game
the
out.
Benz. The guy like he was closing out those games. They don't have them. They can't do it on time. I mean,
Yeah.
every Rockstar game is delayed multiple times, but still.
I actually don't remember games being delayed pre GTA 5. I feel like they came out every May like clockwork. And
Was
then-
Max Payne 3 delayed?
Probably.
I thought the
think it
original Red
was.
Dead was delayed too.
Yeah.
Well,
mean,
maybe I
it's-
wasn't paying attention.
It's to be
But
expected.
I remember they came out like every May. There was a Rockstar game until
Here is a story
Red Dead.
from Kotaku from January 17th, 2012. Max Payne 3 delayed until May.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think May became the time because they delayed them from holiday. They started delaying them from holiday to May. I'm serious.
That makes sense. Because then you get here's a story from IGN, August 2nd, 2007. Grand Theft Auto 4 delayed.
I think the original Red Dead was too. I can't be sure though.
I think you're right.
Yeah, that makes sense now. I have to say, I don't think I was as aggressively following the games industry back then as I do now.
I've told you guys privately, like I don't believe in release dates until the game's shipping to stores, like till it's gold. It just doesn't. I mean, and with the Yakuza thing, like it's not even once it's gold, you can't even trust it. Like game releases it's hard to put out a video game, I think.
But even once it's gold, sometimes it gets pulled. Like,
sometimes it's on store shelves and it gets pulled.
Yeah, like that
NBA.
Yeah.
NBA Ashes Cricket from physical store shelves.
Ash's Cricket was a special thing.
Yeah, it was.
At least that wasn't on like physical shelves. They didn't
Yeah.
a bunch of make a bunch of discs. But yeah, that's to be expected. My interest in Red Dead is pretty minimal. I don't really care for Rockstar games in general. Just they don't do much for me.
I feel like they kind of jumped the shark with GTA 5. Like I enjoyed the first Red Dead pretty immensely, and I liked GTA 5, but it seems like too much. It's too exhausting to me to think about playing another massive Rockstar game that's going to have this colossal online component. Like,
but horse balls.
That's true.
I love GTA 5. I played a lot of the online as well. Probably played like 40 hours of the online. Did all the heists with my buddies. So I'm really excited about Red Dead. I feel pretty shit for all of the October releases though. Because Red Dead is going to devour them.
Do we even know what's being released in October? There isn't probably much nailed down at this point yet, huh?
Yeah, no idea.
The tradition nowadays, isn't it, is to announce at E3 what you're doing in winter.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like it was used to be that we would.
It depends on who you are, because if you're Sony, you're like, hey, next year.
Yeah.
But yeah.
When's Days Gone coming out, or supposed to be coming out?
That is winter this year. That's their big winter game.
Yeah.
Could that be October then?
Maybe.
Probably not anymore. If I was making a game and planning on October,
No, first half of 2018, according to trustedreviews.com.
Okay.
They're
Fair enough.
They're trusted.
I
Yeah,
could see
you gotta
that
trust
coming,
them.
coming out around E3.
August, September time, maybe.
I could see that in like a May, June.
Yeah. I think Spider-Man is their May, June game though.
I think Spider-Man might
September.
be there. Could be there September, November, or October.
Yeah, that's what I see for that.
Well, they've said Spider-Man's Q1.
Oh, well then it's
No, sorry, H1. They said it's half one this year. So I'm seeing it as May simply because they want to scoop up the Avengers goodwill.
Could
Maybe,
be.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that they would be silly to not put out their game with an Avenger in it within 2 months of the Avengers movie coming out.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Death Stranding, day and date with Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yes, please.
It'd be such an interesting day.
But
Death
like,
Stranding's never coming out, though.
Yeah.
it's gonna be a
Stranding
phone
is
app by the time
vaporware.
it's done.
I got news for you. It already is a phone app, and you've had it for years.
It's the end of curiosity.
Yeah.
The Cube was the entire design doc for Death Stranding.
Kojima's gonna walk out on stage at E3, pull off a mask, and it's gonna be Peter Molyneux. Say, it was about the games we made along the way.
And then, weirdly, a Hideo Kojima hologram, like the Tupac hologram, fades in next to him. And yeah, they have a full conversation with each other about their full intentions for Fable 4.
Then they high five, but then you expect like, oh, he's a hologram, it'll go right through. But then they actually high five.
I think you guys should write this fanfic. We should come back to it next week.
This isn't a fanfic. This is I have foresight.
We already know Andre lives in the future.
Yeah,
It's
it's
true.
June 4th. It's June 4th right now. I'm telling you. I don't know when is E3 this year.
Death Stranding, what do you reckon comes out first? Death Stranding or the Final Fantasy VII remake?
Final Fantasy VII remake.
Final Fantasy VII remake.
Well,
First
yeah.
half of the Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I was gonna say the first half.
Third. It's 3 parts.
Ah,
Yeah.
first third.
They put out some art and stuff, or like some more like detailed screenshots recently, because they had some event that's ongoing. Like we get Kingdom Hearts 3, and we get the first half or first third of Final Fantasy VII within the next year and a half.
That's what you think.
That's what they say.
I know. I'm just being an asshole about release dates.
Speaking of being an asshole, let's finish this podcast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks everybody for joining us today, especially those who joined us live, and even more especially those who are downloading the podcast, because if I can't figure out how to do it, I'm extremely impressed that you've done it. So you can find us all online at various different places. We'll run through in a minute where you can find us. I just wanted to say today we've been sponsored by...
Oh my god.
Someone's gonna get a cease and desist.
It's not from Andre.
Yeah. Cease and desist this joke. But yeah, we've been sponsored by Microsoft, so lots of interesting stuff about Microsoft and their entertainment partners.
You know, these great things to say about them.
Yeah, if you go onto the Xbox website and type in stamps.com, nothing happens. So today I have
Cha-ching.
Sam Harrison. You can find me online on Twitter and Instagram and Twitch at SGCH. Those are my initials, which is why I'm going to spell it for you now, which is S for Sierra, G for Golf, C for Charlie, H for Hotel.
That's a
and
really
Pat.
weird name.
Yeah. Scooch. Sam for short, though. Pat?
You can find me at on Twitter and on Twitch at JesterPC. And I'll say, as I say every week, I hope to stream some games this week.
Have you ever
We should
done
stream
that?
some Monster Hunter.
We should
actually
stream
do
some
it.
Monster. We should actually do it. We're not going to. We should.
Yeah.
No, who's next?
Erica?
So I will be streaming on twitch.tv/Zupadupa, XUPAHDUPAH, in about an hour-ish, with Yakuza 0. But we've also been trying to play some newer games. We had a little Subnautica on today. And also on Twitter, at Erica, AIREHCUH, and one day I will get handles that I can just say and not spell.
Yes. Same here.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Coolslaw, COOLSL4W, because I'm elite. and Cray _ Dre on Instagram if you're into that. I mainly talk about living in Japan and being a teacher. Like when I sang Backstreet Boys at a student because they wouldn't answer my question. I was like, "Tell me why." And then the teacher also started singing Backstreet Boys too, so that was pretty good. That's my Twitter.
Cool. And next up we have Allison.
I will not be streaming this week because I haven't really done Twitch. But you can find me on Twitter at WRITERSERENYTY, and I will try to find a username that's easier to tell people. And I think I'm gonna get off the chat right now, but nice talking with you guys.
Bye, Allison.
Bye.
Couldn't wait for Alex. Oh well. Alex, you're up next.
Yeah, you can Google me. I'm places.
I'm just gonna
I think Meteor was probably.
and see what I get.
You have to buy him dinner first.
Yeah, I'm around, but like you can find me on my free cams and stuff like that. Meteora was probably the best Linkin Park album.
I didn't laugh at that.
That's for the best.
Yeah.
We don't have the internet.
Your wife to be should be proud.
Yep.
No, that's all I got. Like I said, Meteor is probably the best Linkin Park album, and I think we're going to be doing a special book watching TV show club thing in a few weeks.
Yeah, definitely.
Can we talk about?
I'm almost done with that series, so I'm totally happy to do it.
Yeah, and I've been done with it for months, so I'm ready to talk.
We are going to watch Dragon Ball Super.
Yeah.
All 130 episodes.
20 or whatever.
It's actually ending soon, so.
We're
podcast about Meteor.
Yeah. Maybe then we could do a podcast about the true best Linkin Park album, which is Reanimation.
It's all right.
There were a bunch of custom Warcraft 3 maps. That
I don't think we can do this right now.
Chipmunk versions of Linkin Park songs. So it's like crawling in. It's like running around this, like you'd be running around, and then there'd be Linkin Park or like the Kingdom Hearts theme song playing.
Why not both?
Yeah. Reanimation.
Look forward to my mashup album.
Yeah. But yeah, so today we've been brought to you by Linkin Park and Microsoft partners, and we're going to bring to you the book club of watching the anime Made in Abyss, which we're hoping to cover in probably a couple of weeks, because the show takes about 5 hours to watch. So for those of you who have very little free time or who stream Yakuza 0 every night, it gives you a little bit of time to watch that show. But yeah, so thanks again everyone for watching, or listening, or I don't know, observing us somewhat, somehow. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Or next
all right.
And when I shared this the link to this, I mentioned that I was in a car accident on Facebook, and then I saw a bunch of people I know just popped in for like a sec, just to watch for like a sec, and then popped right back out.
Oh my god, is she dead? Oh, she's not a zombie. Okay.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. Real Gamer Girls signing out.
Fake
Bye,
Gamer
everyone.
Girls, signing
Bye,
out.
everyone.
Bye.
I've never actually been here to the end. This is exciting.
Ooh, someone's up past their bedtime.
Yep. All right. See you guys.
Bye.
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 See ya.